Ladies and gentlemen, we are just loading in, but I may have forgotten to select spectator, and I'm in one of the vacant cars, so I will have to retire. It may show me on the leaderboard when it shouldn't do, but yeah, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Baku qualifying here in Azerbaijan. A very interesting one it's set to be, and today joined by Sam in the commentary box.
Hello, sorry I was a bit late there, but hello everyone, welcome to Baku. As Callum just said, another week of racing and another qualifying session. Let's see who's feeling confident in Baku today.
Yeah, we are just loading in currently, so taking a while. I don't know why. I think it may be to do with one of the drivers loading in. I'm not too sure. But yeah, we are waiting for the qualifying session to start, and yeah, we did say it's going to be interesting. Who are your eyes on today?
The same people as always, the likes of Max Chapman, Casper Meach, Casper Knopp, those guys. But speaking to a few drivers before the start of the session, Josh O'Meara in the McLaren says he's feeling the most confident he's ever felt for a qualifying session. So we'll have to see what he can do this week.
Now we're trying to try and get this to work. I mean, we've had so many technical issues this game, but
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I don't know if you noticed it. Actually, today, today is the day that Codemasters have officially taken over. Sorry, have officially been taken over by EA.
That's I don't know what to say. Is that good news for us racers or not? We'll have to see, and time will tell. But hopefully, this isn't representative of the future with EA. But we will get this issue sorted. You know, we've been through this in the past with you guys with issues with this game, so we'll just get that sorted and we'll get right to the qualifying session.
I mean, that should also help that I was in a car, so
Yeah, getting a bit excited. I think.
Pardon?
You're getting a bit excited.
Yeah, I don't know. I think all of these years back behind the old commentator desk, and I just wanted to have a spin on one of the new cars. I don't know.
Don't blame you, honestly.
I don't think I could give any of the drivers out there a run for my money. I'm definitely nowhere near the pace of those guys. So,
yeah,
if that's not commendation to them, I don't know what it is. But yeah, we'll get going momentarily. It's been 10 minutes so far to the streamer, a bit longer than normal. But again, like we said, can't really help for Codemasters. just to answer your question, I can't actually go spectator until everybody is in the session, because I actually need to be out of spectator to invite people. So yeah, that's what happened before. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the actual start of the qualifying here in Baku, and I'm, like I said before, joined by Sam. Hello, Sam.
Yeah, we are finally in. Yeah, as you said, we are in Baku this week. A very interesting circuit, very similar, but also very different to what we experienced last week in Monaco. Obviously, it is a street circuit similar to that of Monaco, but we've got very, very long straights around Baku, great for overtaking.
Yeah, you said it's an overtaker, and that's definitely what it's known for. The almost 4 kilometer, well, sorry, not four, almost 3 kilometer back straight is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it also just shows the pace of these modern Formula One cars. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and get to our camera, which is in that pit lane. Yeah, so we're definitely waiting for all of these drivers to go out, see what strategy they're going to go out. We see the conditions here are actually overcast, which is good for the drivers. It means there might be a small chance of rain later on. Both the McLarens already coming out.
Yeah, definitely. As we said earlier, the McLarens are feeling very confident this week. It's going to be really interesting to see what they can do. Their qualifying performances haven't been incredible thus far in the league, but it's good to hear that these drivers are getting confidence coming into the weekend. So we'll have to see what those McLaren boys can do. They're going to be aiming to get out of Q1, no doubt. But yeah, as you said, overcast, so not very warm out on track. About track temperature about 30 degrees. So still definitely not too still definitely not very cold. But yeah, not the warmest we've seen in Baku.
Yeah, here at the Baku circuit, this is one of the trickiest corners we see Forbes go through there. I think that is, if you bear with me, I think that is the turn 10, turn 9 complex that goes, sorry, the turn 5, turn 6 complex that goes just before the straight down to Castle, which we did see him go through there. Obviously, very famous for the I am stupid moment of Charles Leclerc back in 2019.
Yeah, definitely, and it just proves that if a driver of such caliber that is Charles Leclerc can win it at Castle, it's so easy for these guys to do today. They're going to have to be so cautious through there. They're going to be trying to maximize the amount of speed they can take through it, but not going too far because it's so easy to hit the barrier, as Charles Leclerc demonstrated back in 2019, as you said.
And yeah, we're missing quite a few of our premier drivers. Obviously, the main one is the man who's actually been disqualified retrospectively from last week. Obviously, the stewards decided that they didn't really enjoy the manner in which Robbie Welsh was racing last week, and Forbes comes into the pits there in that McLaren team. Maybe some damage picked up on his outlap, but O'Mara starts the first flying lap of the session.
Yeah, Mara is going for it. But yeah, as you said, we're down 2 drivers today. Robbie in the Renault and one of the Williams, which is a shame for us. But they'll have their chance to prove later on in the league, no doubt. Obviously, we've seen the pace from Robbie and how we know how fast he is. He's obviously leading at the Drivers' Championship at the moment. That very, very close battle between him and the Alfa Romeo driver of Max Chapman, of course. So yeah, that's that for this week. But we've still got 18 drivers today. Can be pushing very, very hard to go for that pole position.
If we talk about Baku in the grand scheme of things, I mean, it's really not that old, is it? In Formula One, like in Formula One terms of things, as O'Mara goes wide and invalidates his hot lap. Very, very tight track limits around here, especially on the exit of that castle. But yeah, really, really not too old in the grand scheme of things. You look at Monza, Monaco, where we were last week. Look at Silverstone. They've all been there for a good 50 years, and this is one of the most recent additions.
Yeah, definitely. It's a real race of contrast, really. Monaco, as you said, such a traditional Grand Prix. It's been on the F1 calendar for countless years, and whereas Baku, it's relatively young. It's a new Grand Prix. It was introduced back in 2016. I have to get back on that one, but yeah, it's a relatively new track for these guys, but it's been on the calendar for a while, and it's been in the F1 games for a while now, so they've had experience around it. But very different to what we were experiencing in Monaco. It's a much more faster street circuit, and they're going to reach some of the fastest straight line speeds along the circuit.
Yeah, you're definitely right when you say that it's like Monaco in some aspects, but then not in the others. Obviously, the track limits are just as tight as Monaco, and it's so unforgiving. But also, the raw paces, we do see Foxhole ripping down that back straight. It's just ridiculous, and we saw Josh losing his rear through there, and actually losing a lot of his wing through turns 18 and 19 when he's coming back into that Sector 3 straight.
Yeah, surprisingly, that turn 18-19 is actually very tricky. It's you don't get very good visibility going through there, and we're going so quickly that it's actually incredibly hard to take those corners, and they can really catch you out. You want to get as close to the barrier as possible. If you get too close, you're going to easily hit your front wing off, as O'Mara did in that McLaren. So this track is certainly not complete smooth running. There is a lot of straight line stuff, but there's also very tricky corners. The likes of Castle, I would say one of the trickiest corners on the track.
One person who's really, really showing their pace through that turn 18-19 complex was Matthew Widdowson down in P7, currently number 47. He had a really sloppy middle sector, but that allowed him to get the purple last sector, purple sector 3. So really, really good pace from him down that straight. Maybe is that an indication of setup? Obviously, there's not much turns with sector 3 running down from turn 16 to turn 20, obviously being turn 18-19 being the bigger turns of the track, turn 20 being like turn 2 at Austria with the just small kink in the track. But is that an indication that his setup is more, or the Haas guy's setups is more inclined to the pace side of things rather than downforce?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, there's like any circuit we've been to, there's 3 sectors, and the final sector is definitely complete straight lines for these guys. So it's all about raw speed. Whereas if you think sector 2, that's where Castle lies. It's more about downforce. So it is really tricky to get the balance on your setup. You're definitely going to be wanting to prioritize the straight line speed, because you can lose so much time going through the straights because you're literally just a sitting duck. So we may be seeing on that Haas of Widdowson slightly less downforce than those around him, which we'll have to see if that plays out for him. But he's going to be rapid on that straight.
Yeah, there's a yellow flag down in sector 2. I'm not sure what that is. Is that someone back at the castle who's gone off? Robinson is slow through that middle sector. Has he got any wing damage? No from him, but he was just getting out of the way. Is he probably preparing for his next hot lap. But Chapman is the man we were on board with, and he is about to start his flying lap. We're going on board with him right now. He opens that DRS in the rear wing. Go ahead and talk us through his lap.
Yeah, Chapman, you know, such a ferocious driver in qualifying. He's been great in qualifying, and he starts to attack the Baku circuit. Approaching turn 2, this is effectively a pretty much a rectangle. If you look at the track map, the first 4 corners looks like a rectangle. But nevertheless, he's powering down towards turn 3, which is where the track starts to get a bit tricky, I would say. Approaching turn 4, this can really catch you out, actually. You don't want to get too close to that barrier, and it's very easy to do. It's very easy to get a snap of oversteer through there if you get on the power too early. Approaching turn 5, that curb there that he just missed by his right tire is so high. It really catches you out. As he approaches Castle, you know, this very famous circuit after very famous turn after 2019, after the Charles Leclerc incident. But we approach. Oh, I don't know if he's backed out. Didn't seem like he was going very fast through there, but we'll have to see whether he sticks with it.
Yeah, he did get a big snap of oversteer there through turn 12. We did see that from the onboard cam.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but he's gonna be powering down now towards turn 16, and this is where the very long straight starts at Baku, that very famous straight where we'll see most of the overtaking, I think, this weekend. You know, there's not much to say going through turn 18, 19. Those corners can really catch you off guard. Going through turn 20, as you say, very similar to turn 2 at Austria, in that it's so easy for these guys to completely flatten. It's just fingertip stuff. As he powers towards the line, he has backed out, and he won't be setting a lap time there.
Yeah, he did invalidate his lap, so that was probably the reason he did back out. But Andre Abreu currently has the fastest first sector as he comes towards the timing line here in Q1, and 2 green sectors afterwards. Means he goes to P3.
Very solid lap for the Williams driver in P3, just 4/10 off that of P1 at the moment. You know, Kaspanov in P1, we've seen how strong he is. Last week in Monaco, he was leading for the first lap, and then we saw that incident that he, after the race, look at it, was, you know, completely mind-blowing. His right tyre, after the Nouvelle chicane, his right tyre just got caught between the barrier, and, you know, his front right wheel was completely ripped off, which is a real shame for him because we know how strong he was around Monaco. He got an incredible start, propelling himself to P1, but Kaspanov at the moment still in P1 in Q1. We'll have to see what he can do.
That was a freak accident, wasn't it? Because you could barely see any of the wall that was sticking out, and I don't know if any of you guys have actually seen the incident, but we didn't actually get a look at it until after the race. Obviously, the footage was released, but he just coming out of the Nouvelle chicane towards Tabac, he just eased on the power a bit too much, got too much straight line speed, and that meant he couldn't really correct himself when he was coming into the into like turn 9 and turn 10. So that meant that that he went into the tiniest bit of wall that really probably shouldn't have hit.
Yeah, it was a real freak accident, and it's a shame that did cost him a potential win. But, you know, we know how that race went on to be, and it was a very hectic and exciting race, and obviously another new winner in that of Dylan Hartley. That's looking pretty strong at the moment. He's in P6, about a second off P1 at the moment. So yeah, another winner from last week, obviously, with Dylan Hartley in that AlphaTauri, which was great to see, and I think he was really happy with that one.
Whilst you've been talking, we have been on board with number 13, lucky number 13, Forbes. He's currently 1 minute into his hot lap. He's a little bit apprehensive there through Castle. Maybe that's where we did see him lose a bit of his wing last lap on his out lap. But behind him, already out for his second lap, is Chapman. Very quick turnaround there from the Alfa Romeo team.
Very impressive stuff. They are obviously sitting on the edge of their seats. They want to get Chapman a lap time in. We've actually seen this quite a few times, I think, from Chapman, in that he hasn't quite got his clean laps in Q1 in early enough, and he's had to go around again, which is not what he wants to be doing. He wants to be using only one set in Q1. He wants to be one set of tires, just to clarify, in Q1. He wants to be having as many sets further through the qualifying, but he does start his flying lap, and Adam Forbes going to P13, which is a really nice lap from him.
Yeah, that puts him 2 positions safe. 2 positions safe from the danger zone. The man in the danger zone currently, Mitchell, is currently out on an outlap, but Chapman didn't set a time last week, obviously due to the... In the meanwhile, whilst we are back, I'm not sure what happened there, something to do with Twitch servers or maybe the encoding on my end, but that is a big sorry here from the Skybox. But whilst you were gone, you actually missed the end of Chapman's provisional pole lap. He puts himself in P1 and safe, which means Mitchell, Robinson, and Amara, who is currently on an outlap, are at danger.
Yeah, obviously Max Chapman, our most experienced pole sitter in P1 at the moment, as we would expect.
Yeah, esteemed there from him. I mean, I tried to get a replay for you guys, but it didn't work because we were offline. But Josh, on his outlap, comes through the castle corner, and he's hit! He's hit the wall where Charles Leclerc so famously hit the wall. His wheel did not come off, so he is not stupid. But that means he's pretty much out. He cannot fix it. And has somehow managed to, whilst driving, put I am stupid in the chat.
Obviously, very talented driver, but not talented enough to get through Castle cleanly, and that's a shame for him. That may have cost him his potential Q2 spot today. He was obviously on his, was he on a flying lap? Oh no, he was on
his
an
outlap, yeah.
So yeah, even more of a shame. He's obviously on his outlap preparing for that flying lap, but this is a very, very long lap round Baku. It's about a 1 minute 40 on average, just below that for these guys at the moment. But yeah, he won't get around enough time. He won't have enough time to get around again, which is a real shame for Amara because he was feeling so confident today.
Yeah, and Robinson is not coming out, and neither is Mitchell. No, Mitchell is coming out. Mitchell's on an outlap.
Yeah, obviously they're going to want to be getting out of the danger zone, as you said. The P16, 17, 18 will not make it through to Q2. Obviously, we are missing 2 drivers today. But as it stands, Ben Mitchell and Jay Robinson are at danger, and they're not going to get through. But there's 1 minute left in the session. Jay Robinson will be staying in P17. He cannot improve because he's in the pit.
Yeah, just go ahead and talk us through what you're doing if you are not right now.
Casper not. Well, he's currently in the pit lane, so he's probably just chilling. But I would be seeing that lap time of Chapman. You know, it's unfortunately something he's...
Sorry to interrupt you, but we've just got a team radio from the McLaren garage.
I'm stupid. I switch off everything.
Very nice there from Josh. He is stupid, apparently. I mean, I wouldn't say he was, but very reminiscent of what Charles Leclerc did. Will Mitchell make it to the line? I don't think he will. I don't think 8 seconds is enough time to get to that line.
No, it's going to be very close. I don't think it... No. Yeah. That's a shame. He's going to be staying out of Q2, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he's definitely made it, but yeah, Josh, maybe a tactical decision. Oh, but he has started his hot lap. I'm not sure what's going on with the timing screens this late. Obviously, we saw we saw Matt get to the line last week, and this week, Mitchell has seemed to get in and just get slightly past the FIA timing boards as he come down into Sector 1, if you want to walk us through the rest of the lap.
Yeah, that is the second time we've seen this, which has caught us off guard, but yeah, he's in P60 at the moment. He's so close to getting out that danger zone for Q1 and potentially getting into Q2. But he is coming up to this very tricky section. This sector 2 is very, very tricky. The trickiest part on this circuit, because to be honest, the rest is straight. And obviously, we're coming up to Castle now, where Josh O'Meara had his incident, which did cost him a place in Q2 potentially, but Ben Mitchell gets through there nicely. He takes a lot of that curve on the left, and he does get to take a decent amount of straight line speed, but he does get a bit of oversteer there. He gets his wheels are spinning quite a lot coming out of that previous corner, which is a shame for him, but he approach turn 15 now. Another straight, obviously, Baku, lots of them, and turn 16, this curve on the left is also very, very high. There's lots of very high curves around Baku which can really catch you off guard. We approach turn 18 and 19. It is the tricky few corners as we get onto the longest straight on the track, which powers down towards the start-finish line. He's getting a beautiful toe off that car in front. I'm not too sure who that is, but that is going to be really beneficial for him. He's got that toe. Is it going to be enough?
Oh, it is!
Yes.
It is. Both the McLarens out then. McLaren and the Alpha Tauri of Robinson. That's a shock after his teammate put him in... Well, his teammate won last week, obviously, and Robinson down in P17. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is your qualifying session for Q1. About the crackler mic, I'm going to go try and fix that now. But, yeah, hope you enjoyed Q1. And sorry for the slight inconvenience, which is the little separation we had in the middle, obviously. Twitch being Twitch, and my internet being my internet. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of qualifying 1, so... Josh, don't be making comments like that. That's a little bit rude, but, yeah, qualifying 1, a little bit subdued. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, not the most exciting qualifying 1 that we've ever seen in the league, but we're in Q2. Seems to be getting a bit darker. I don't know if we're going to be expecting any rain, which will obviously really shake things up in the qualifying session. We'll have to wait and see for that. The weather is its own thing. It does what it wants. But yeah, we're in Q2 now, 15 minutes of running in order to get to that big session, that big Q3. And as always, the 10 guys that get into Q3 will start the race on the tyres they get their fastest lap on in this session.
Now, normally we would go and just show you the stars. The cars at the start of Q2. However, we're going to go ahead and show you that incident that involved Josh O'Mara. We're going to the replay scene. We see him come in here through Sector 2. We were on board. We were just talking about Casper Meach and what went on with him, but I think I may have missed it. Yeah, I definitely missed it, but that's a shame. I thought I may have pressed the button in time, but I didn't. Yeah, he just... Definitely that front wing was gone, but we're on board with Dylan Hartley, the only Alpha Tauri to make it into Q2.
Yeah, obviously that shock exit from his teammate in Q1. But Dylan Hartley, no doubt, will be proving himself in Q2 like he always does. So we'll have to see what he can do. Obviously, we've also got our eyes on Joel Foxhall, a very, very strong driver in the league that's been at the top end of the field several times. Obviously finished P2 last week in Monaco, very much because of that crazy last few laps, to be honest. That still shocks me to this day, but yeah, lots to talk about in Q2. This is the one that leads up to Q3, the most important session of qualifying.
Yeah, so Dylan Hartley, actually, I think he's already got round onto his hot lap, but there is no timing screen, so it's really unusual, because we normally get the timing screen if they're on their hot lap, but it doesn't say he's on his out lap, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But the man who is on his out lap is Joel Foxhall, who comes through the castle section.
He's warming his tyres going through castle. He's not going to be weaving through castle, because he'd probably, to be honest, hit his front wing. It's so narrow going through there, but yeah, I believe Dylan Hartley is on an out lap. It says that on my screen, but you know, the F1 game is what it is. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what the two can do. Obviously, Hartley and Foxhall will be interesting to see what they can do. Obviously, we've seen Max Chapman. He went P1 in Q1. He's obviously got the pace today, and Casper not P2 just 1/10 behind. It's going to be close between those two. I think those two are the strongest at the moment for pole, but we'll have to see what other drivers will be like.
Yeah, there's a lot of the front runners who normally go out are in the garage. So we got Chapman, Titan, Meech, Nop, and Hanmore are also Mitchell, but he's on his outlap, but it says he's in the garage. That's really unusual. But not for Meech, Hanmore, Titan, and Chapman's all still in the pits. And is that just them trying to get a gauge on the track conditions? Obviously, the more you go on into a session, the faster the lap times become, because the track becomes less green and more optimum, ready for the cars. And obviously, the tire rubber is laid down. But is that what they're going for? Are they trying to peep on other people's strategies?
Potentially. I honestly don't know. Maybe they feel that they don't need to do multiple runs in a session, but it does look like all of the people you just mentioned about not being out on the track have left the pit lane and are going to start their outlap, except from Casamich, interestingly, still in his garage at the moment, but not too sure what that's all about. I'll have to see how that plays out. It might be beneficial for them just being able to spy on other drivers, but we'll have to wait and see. But you know, it's all about the tyre compound of choice, and the majority of those that I would expect to get into Q3 are on the medium tyres.
Yeah, that's gonna be a little bit of a shake-up with the likes of Dylan Hartley, the man who won last session and will currently set the fastest lap by about a second. Who's just been overtaken by the Racing Point behind him, who is on the soft tyres, very evidently by the gap, but only 2/10. He is normally in that Q3 session or just missing out on it, and those medium tyres may mean that he might not make it today. But there are a lot of people on alternate strategies today. We've got let me just count: 6, 7, 8, 9 or 8. Hang on, let me count it again. There are eight drivers on the softs, which means there are 7 drivers on the mediums.
Yeah, I think the optimum strategy for this weekend is the starting on the medium tyre. It's that harder wearing tyre versus the soft tyre. It's going to last for more laps during the race. You don't have to pit as early. There's many advantages to running the medium tyre as your first set. So that's why I think we're seeing most of those that we would usually see in Q3 go onto that medium tyre. But as you said, it's always a really good opportunity to try the alternate strategy. Obviously, being on that softer tyre gives you so much of an advantage. So we'll have to see who is on the right strategy for qualifying. As
Yeah, sorry, just needed to go and tell the Williams there that he has to lift. Well, no, he's causing other drivers to lift because he's going too slow. But yeah, causing that yellow flag in Sector 1, that's not what you want. Obviously, the game doesn't know what's the difference between a broken down car and one that's just slowing down for other cars. But one of the only people we're seeing on the on the red marked mediums, oh my goodness, I can't get my words out. Red marked softs coming into that pits after their first lap is Middlefell.
Yeah, Middlefell obviously in P9 has set a lap about 2.5 seconds off the current pace of these guys. Obviously, understandably, the top 6 are all on soft tyres, so it's going to be really difficult for the medium tyre runners to get involved in that, I'm feeling. So it's going to be really actually interesting to see whether the medium runners are going to have to or actually be forced to go onto the soft tyres just to get into Q3. But we're seeing the likes of Foxhall P3 at the moment on that soft tyre. But Casper Knopp that's now in P4 is on those medium tyres, but he's about 1.1 seconds off, so that's quite a margin.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really up to the likes of Mitchell and Middlefell, the only 2 other current soft runners down that aren't in the top 10. So, I mean, Middlefell has just switched to the medium tyres. Will he be able to beat it? That's up to him. But Chapman in P6 on the mediums, and not a lot, evidently, about a 10th and a half quicker.
Yeah, that's quite a margin. Obviously, it's going to be really interesting to see whether the rest of the medium runners can get into that Q3 session. Obviously, we're seeing Casper not P4 about 1.1 seconds off on those mediums, and Max Chapman in P6 about 1.2 seconds off on those mediums. So they're getting in there just about, but a whole second off P1 is quite a lot.
Am I right in saying that the drivers are only can't get my words out today, honestly. The drivers are only limited to one set of medium tires, or is it that if they choose the harder tire selection, they get two, or is it? I think it's only one limited.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that one, to be honest with you. I will have to get back to you on that, but I think if you do run those medium tires in QT, you're only gonna have one, maybe two runs, depending on what tire selection you brought to the weekend, as you said. But it's much more difficult on those medium tires, and we may end up seeing multiple runs on one set.
Yeah, so
just to avoid that.
So that's what I was on about. Just because we are watching the likes of last week's winner, Dylan Hartley. He seemed to have some exceptional pace down in the practice sessions, and his obviously team practice on their own. There's a yellow flag through Sector 3 for one reason or another, but Dylan Hartley ran his last lap on medium tyres and is currently running again on the medium tyres. So that's just why I was wondering whether it's a fresh set or a worn set.
I am again not too sure. I can get back to you on that one because I can get that information quite quickly. But they are 1 lap old tyres. If he's on his flying lap, that means he's used a new set of tyres. So he's using 2 medium sets to try and get into Q3. So he's very committed to that medium strategy by the looks of it. I mean, there's about 5 minutes left of the session, but he's got to do quite a few more laps to get another flying lap in. So it's going to be very tight. So if he doesn't improve on this lap and push himself forward in the standing, it's going to be very difficult to get from those mediums, I think.
In terms of the strategy for the soft runners, obviously in Q3, every lap counts. So in Q2, if you're the likes of Andre or Rinsa, who are in the top flights and are there by a considerable margin, do you take the yellow marked mediums out just to scrub them in, get them more ready for the race?
Potentially. We said this before about tyre scrubbing. It's something we see in lots of motorsports categories, but not too much in Formula 1. Obviously, the Pirelli compounds are quite interesting. They're very hard to manage, and we've seen the past few years they've got a very, very shiny surface when they come out of the tyre blanket. So that's the sort of thing you want to get off the tyres, but that really comes off by the end of the pit lane. So I'm not too sure, but you know, these guys in the top 10 that are on those soft tyres, it's great to see them into Q3, but in the race, the soft tyre is going to be very difficult. It's a very, very long circuit, and it's a very, very challenging lap on those tyres. Very, very quick going down that straight, so it's very, very tough on those tyres. So it's going to be interesting to see whether the soft tyre is actually beneficial for the race.
Yeah, and just on some unrelated... Well, there we go. We see him on the brand new tyres come into the pits. So, yeah, we might see a little bit of tyre scrubbing here. I'm not too sure what's going on there because obviously in the race you have a mandatory tyre compound to change. So Dylan wouldn't be able to go onto the medium tyres anyway. But nevertheless, Casper Knott is on an outlap and he's through to Sector 2, coming towards the Castle Corner, and he's really set himself up for this race. If the medium strategy is the better strategy, he is the front runner out of those currently on them, and he's on the soft tyre now. So maybe that's really unusual because the medium hard looks to be the strategy. But do you think he can get through well, not get through? Do you think he can make sure he is into the qualifying 3 session on the softs? What's his motif for going through there?
Well, we've actually seen him before. I believe it was in China. He has set his fastest lap on the medium compound, and then he went around again on a soft tire just as a backup in case he doesn't get into Q3. There's about 2.5 seconds left of the session. We may see him back out of his lap if he thinks he's going to be able to get through on those medium tires. Obviously, starting on that medium tire is so beneficial for the race, but he's almost being forced into trying those soft tires.
Yeah, so just talk us through Casper Knopp. I mean, he's had some absolutely amazing pace so far this league.
Yeah, most definitely. Casper Knopp obviously fighting for that Q3 position. We haven't seen that very often from him, actually. You know, he's just got such raw pace, and we saw that in Monaco. He had an incredible start and some incredible pace, but Casper Knopp, now in P7, he is at risk of not getting into Q3. I know he's within that top 10, but you know, there's lots of people around him that are going to be going on those soft tyres, which is much faster than his medium tyre. So he's coming up towards the castle section. On those soft tyres, it's much easier. There's so much more grip on those softer compound versus the medium tyre, and he goes through there very nicely. But I think he's actually invalidated his lap.
Yeah, I think it was on purpose. It looked like the corner coming up to Castle in turn 6, and maybe that's just so he makes sure that this isn't the lap that makes him quicker.
Potentially, but there's still 1 minute left in the session. This is going to be really close behind, but maybe he's been told that there's actually no one behind on... yeah, there's no one behind on a soft tyre that will be able to beat him, because we've got P13 in the pits, P14 and 15 also in the pits. P12 of Casper Meach has retired from the session. I'm not too sure what that's about. P11 is Dylan Hartley, but... Dylan Hartley is the only one that can now get himself into Q3, so that means Casper Knopp is safe. And the most important thing out of that is that he got that medium tyre run in, and he did set his fastest lap on those.
Yeah, and yeah, he is coming into the pits, so very, very dedicated from the Red Bull driver to ensure his position in the top flight.
Yeah, definitely. It's incredible to see that these drivers almost got caught off guard. In fact, I do think some of them did get caught off guard by the amount of soft tyre runners today. Obviously, Ian Hanmore, P14, Ben Mitchell, P15. They attempted to start a soft tyre run, but I just don't think they had enough time. They obviously went out on those medium tyres first.
Yeah, so just
yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, but Dylan Hartley down in P11, number 9. He is 1 minute 10 seconds into his lap. He collides with the wall down into turn 15, coming towards turn 16. He has got a really nice exit, but that collision with the wall has put him 1.2 seconds quicker, 1.2 seconds slower than Abreu. He would currently be in the top 10. He just needs to get a little bit quicker to beat he just needs to get a little bit quicker to beat James Wilson in P10.
Yeah, it's going to be very close. Obviously, he can't really do much on the straight. Is he going to... Yeah, he's had to back out.
That's unfortunate for him, obviously, with him winning the last race. But Chapman fancies his chances, but he's 1 second slower as well.
Yeah, Chapman is safe in P9 at the moment, and he is, importantly, on those medium tyres, which is what he wants to be starting on. So we've got P11, P12, 13, 14, and 15 have all finished their runs in qualifying today. But, yep, Chapman, P9, and Casper Knopp Casper Knopp from P7 managed to get that medium run in, which is so important. They're going to be starting on those medium tyres, which is the most beneficial tyre to start on. But I do think that Casper Meach in P12 is a real missed opportunity for him. We've seen the pace that he has, but not today, clearly. So he's going to be in P12, obviously getting that free tyre choice that may play into his hand. But I will imagine, unless it rains, we will start on those mediums.
Yeah, and that will be the end of qualifying 2 with some contenders definitely out. We've got the likes of Casper Meach, we've got the likes of Dylan Hartley's. Interesting session.
Yeah, definitely. It was a very interesting session. I did think more people were going to get caught out by those soft tyre runners, but that not many people did. I don't think. Speak to a few drivers after the race and catch up on that issue there, but we'll have to see. But yeah, it was an interesting session. Obviously, moving to Q3 now, they're all fighting for that pole position.
Don't go anywhere, folks, because there's one more session to go before the race on Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the qualifying 3 session here at Baku. And what track is after Baku? That is a good question, Nados. We will try and get it. I think it is one of the American tracks. I'm not too sure, but
Go to Canada.
yeah, Canada. So start the North American leg of the tour, and yeah, beautiful track is Canada. One of my favorite races there. 2011 down in the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve. Obviously, one of the most prolific Canadian drivers of his time, Villeneuve.
Yeah, definitely. Canada, obviously, we're looking into the future now, but Canada is an amazing track, and I'm really looking forward to that race. I personally like driving that on the F1 game. It's really enjoyable, but we've still got a qualifying session and a race to go before that. Obviously, Q3, we're riding on board with Joel Foxall. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. It's great to see him into Q3. I'm not too certain on what tyres he got his fastest lap on in Q2, but we'll no doubt find out soon. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting session. Who can get that pole position? I think it's going to be close between Max Chapman and Casper Knott.
Yeah, Casper Knott definitely wanted to show the pace, but he's already scrubbed one of his sets of the soft tyres earlier on when we did see him come out just to make sure he got that position. But for those of you who are asking about the Gary Swallow plugging in the chat, we will be posting that just shortly. It is a little bit of money to spend, but it definitely makes the experience 10 times better, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's really cool to see some true to life graphics for you guys to watch. It's really enjoyable to stream that for you guys. So yeah, it's definitely worth it, and it's a great investment in my opinion, and I'm sure it is in yours too, Callum.
Yeah, we'll walk through some of the features. So we have got the timing plugin down in the bottom left, which is definitely useful for the qualifying sessions. We see either yellow, meaning slower, green, meaning personal best, and sorry, purple. Almost said it wrong. Purple meaning fastest sector, but you guys all know that. And purple first sector for Joel Foxall, perfect example.
Yeah, definitely nicely done for Joel Foxall. But obviously, this is the first guy to go around the track, so it's obviously inevitable he's going to be setting the fastest sectors. But yeah, as you said, some great graphics, very very true to life, to real world Formula One.
Someone said in the chat, am I colorblind? But I think I'm just a little bit excited of what's gonna happen this race. I can't sit still. Yeah, Foxall here still retaining fastest sector 1 and currently going purple in sector 2. He's invalidated his lap there through that turn.
Yeah, it's a shame for him. As you said, he had a purple sector 1, and nobody that set a sector 1 time has been able to beat that so far, which is obviously really good stuff for him. But as you said, he's invalidated his lap time.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's stayed out for the second lap, which presumably means he's going to try and set a lap. And the man who we did say looked good is on pole. Or provisional pole, sorry.
Yeah, provisional pole for Casper Knott, 1:38.7, decent lap time for him. We'll have to see what the likes of Chapman can do to respond to that. Torben Schutt in the Ferrari goes P3 now after Thomas Salomon in the Haas has beaten him to that P2 slot. He's about 5/10 off P1 at the moment.
Yeah, here's when we see the raw pace of these drivers. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1 from the drivers who are not letting them past. Joel Foxall has put a green Sector 1 on the board. It's not purple like it was last lap, but is that because of Casper not behind with the raw pace he has?
Potentially, but Max Chapman is the one that stole that purple Sector 1 from him. But Max Chapman, interestingly enough, is about 5/10 off Casper Knott at the moment in P1. That's 5/10, it's huge.
Yeah, so we see none of the drivers actually coming into pit yet, so good stuff from everyone to keep it clean, but there is someone waiting in the castle corner just before the section. That's going to cause us a lift. That is one of the Red Bulls. That is Casper Knott.
I'm not too sure what happened there.
I think he was just letting people past. In all fairness, it looked like he'd binned it into the wall, but you know, often making things more exciting than they are. I am here.
Yeah, the issue with the Formula One game is that it can't recognise whether people are slowing down because of faster cars or they're just slowing down for the sake of it. So that's an issue with the game, which unfortunately we can't do anything about. But still stay on Kasparov. He's looking very strong. Provisional pole at the moment, 5/10 ahead.
Yeah, there's a yellow sector 2 there, because he does come through turn. He does just come through turn 15, I believe it is, and smacks his wing on the wall. No damage for him, but ruined his lap time. As you do see, he's backed out quite significantly. But there is more of a yellow flag, and that can't be caused by him, because he's still going reasonably slow. Rinser comes through turn 1 and is P8. So, I mean, Joel Foxall still not able to set a time on the board.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to his second lap. I'm not sure if he bothered to do a second fine lap on that same set of soft tyres. Obviously, you want these soft tyres in their optimum condition to set your fastest lap. You want as many things going in your way as possible, and that one of those things is the condition of the tyres. So no doubt he's probably decided to box again. He's going to come out. Just as I say that, I believe he's come out, unless that's his teammate. That was him. That's just come out again on a fresh set of soft tyres, I believe, to set a faster lap, and hopefully a valid lap this time.
Yeah, we're going to go have a word from one of the drivers who we did see in qualifying 1, the man who is the only person so far to put it into the wall in the castle section. Josh, not often we get an interview from one of the drivers live in the qualifying session, but welcome to you.
Yeah, obviously not the greatest performance for me anyway. Yeah, really. I'm not really happy doing the Charlotte clear, but I mean, yeah, I was just hoping to do better in the race, really.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what's happening in qualifying, obviously the drivers are pushing yourself so much to the limit, but that was your out lap. What actually happened?
I believe I hit the wing. Hit my wing on my out lap. Past the pit, which maybe obviously I couldn't like go into the pits, and yeah, I lost control of the car like going through Castle, went straight into the walls and Castle did a Charlotte.
Well, we did hear you on the team radio saying, "I am stupid," just echoing the words of the person. You did just mention Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari, but this time you're in the McLaren, and how is that going to pan out for the race? You haven't had a really good season so far.
I'd say it's only the start, really. We'll just say that it's only the start. Obviously, Baku, last few tracks haven't been my best performance. So.
Right, now, what do you think to the competition? Your teammate didn't make it into qualifying 2 by just a few tenths of a second, and he was pushed out by one of the racing points. So, what do you think to that?
Yeah, he's very close. Adam has great pace for literally every track. But yeah, it's just practice, and hopefully we'll get there soon. Race into the points.
I see what you did there. Racing to the points as the racing point of Joel Foxall does come down this straight here. Are they people you're trying to challenge this season, or they are quite far up the table?
We do have a couple of rivals. We're not going to mention names, but yeah, we'll keep it private for now.
Yeah. Have you got anything to add, Sam?
Just a question, really. You obviously said before the session, you said to me you were feeling very confident about this race. Obviously, you couldn't show that in qualifying, unfortunately, but in the race, what do you think you can do?
I mean, take it slow through Castle, really.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think I got a bit too cocky at the start of quality, but yeah, I mean, just hope for the best, ready for the race.
Yeah, I mean, like, we have just seen one of the pink Mercedes, Joel Foxall, went fastest in the first sector, but actually not through the castle section, just before the castle section. He lost his front wing, but that purple sector has been eradicated. I don't know who by. I think it may be Max Chapman, who's just gone 2 tenths quicker.
Yeah, Chapman back on it, obviously, with that purple first sector. But yeah, as you said, Joel Foxall did hit his front wing and he's got damage going down the straight. That's going to be a real issue, just causing more drag. This
is like a game of ping pong. Kasparov now taken sector 1 back. He's faster once again. He's faster once again. He comes through the castle section. He's going to give it his all through here as we go on board. Oh, just narrowly missing the wall. What an absolute corner there from that driver. Beautiful class. Just no lift through there. He is showing his absolute strength and determination. But yeah, you did hear there the McLaren of Josh just before he had to rush off and go and leave us for his beautifully warm team cabin here in the Baku City circuit. And here, Kasparov, number 69. What a name. Oh, sorry, what a number. He comes through. Middle sector is slower, but he's still quicker than his previous time. Chapman will pass the line just in front of him and go into the P1 position. Chapman has gained 1, 2, 3 on his teammate, but Nop is 154 behind, so Chapman is on provisional pole. Can Casper Nop dethrone him through Sector 3? No. Oh, by 7/100ths of a second. That is... Oh, if he didn't hit the wall through the middle sector, Casper Nop would be on pole.
Yeah, that's a shame. Another, oh my god, I think 7/1000ths of a second behind pole today. That's such a shame for Casper Nop. I mean, that is the smallest of margins, and so close between those two. I thought it was going to be close, but not that close. But yeah, by the looks of it, at the moment, Max Chapman is on pole. He's looking very strong. Obviously, he has that purple sector 1. We'll have to see whether anyone else can beat that.
The man who is probably the only person who can dethrone him. Titan starts his hot lap. He comes through turn 1 pretty wide and throttle, but there is a yellow flag board coming up. He comes through turn 2 again through the box section. He hasn't lifted at all, which is possibly against the FIA sporting regulations, but he's going to try and get the toe of the slow Red Bull of Not there through the back straight, coming down to turn 3. Doesn't even feel like it's been 3 turns. Qualifying 3 has ended, but once they pass that line, they can still set the time. If they have already passed it, Titan here through turn 5, coming towards the very, very tricky section. If you get it wrong, it makes your lap. He's gone fastest in the first sector by 50/1000ths of a second. Sorry, 50/100ths of a second. He comes down towards the tricky castle corner section. Really good stuff from him in this really, really old Ferrari. As he comes through here, is he going to hit his wing? Very apprehensive, not as quick as Casper Nop through there. Definitely not as powerful or as dominating on the throttle as he was, as he comes through the middle of Sector 2, the fastest section on the track that is the compromise of turns, that is, comes down towards the very, very tricky braking point. This is where we saw Casper not bin his lap, but he's done it really nicely. Coming towards the back straight, he's just got a few more turns to go. He's gone 2 turns slower than Chapman. That middle sector is not strong. Through the castle section is where he's lost it, but if his setup is better, 2 tenths is not too much to gain down that back straight. So he comes down, and the DRS will activate. We see in the rear wing, it opens and gives you 7 kilometers extra down that back straight. Widdowson is stuck in P9 and Titan is in P3. Oh, if you're Casper Nop, you're missing out by 7/1000ths of a second. You are just absolutely unlucky.
Yeah, that is the tiniest of margins. I mean, I don't even know where he lost time there. That lap of Chapman to gain that much time, about 5/10ths in a single lap, is really impressive. So a great job once again by him. Our very, very common pole sitter of Max Chapman, again, but by the smallest of margins today. Casper Nop is getting closer and closer to him in qualifying, and that was the closest it's been so far.
Wow, it's just mesmerizing to see the level of skill on these drivers as Casper Nop comes into the pits, and so does Salomon, who we see with no front wing portion. Not sure what happened there, but there's not going to be enough room for the other drivers. So yeah, that's going to be it, folks. Still 50 seconds for those drivers to get back, but Casper Nop is defeated by the barest of margins, and Max Chapman is on pole. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the qualifying session. The man on pole is Max Chapman, but the man who won last week, yeah, it wasn't from pole, but the man who won last week is Dylan Hartley. Welcome to the commentary box now.
Hello.
Um, and obviously last week you must have been elated with old, old celebration there at Monaco, and I heard you did a shoey on the podium.
I did, yeah.
Did it stink?
Well, not gonna say that.
Yeah, so we'll definitely go ahead and talk about that later on. But right now, P11. I mean, it's midfield. Is it where you want to be?
Not personally, no. I would rather be in at least like P7 for this, but you know, it is what it is. I'll have to make do.
Well, the most important question is, can you win this week?
Well, I really want to.
It's like, I thought there was more. I thought there was more coming.
There is more. I just got to keep my hopes up and just hope that my team does the right strategy and hope that it plays out and just keep my hopes up, really.
Well, I mean, you do have the pace. We did see that on a few of your laps. Was it? I can't tell if it was track limits that got you or if you were blocked on your lap.
I wasn't blocked or track limits. Just very unstable rear. I just kept losing it.
Now that's just really unfortunate because obviously with Parc Ferme regulations, you can't change your rear wing. So
Yeah.
what's that going to mean for the race? And also, has your teammate got the problem or?
It seems like he does also have the problem. Yes. That's why he did not get into Q2. We were having issues with the rear of the car.
Well, maybe something you need to look into. But Sam probably has some inquiries about that.
Yeah, obviously that's a real shame. Did you practice with the setup? Did you not feel that in practice or anything?
Yeah, we did practice with the setup. It was actually very good in practice. But we did have a few ifs there, here and there. But it was for some reason it seemed to be worse today.
Alright,
We don't know
okay.
why.
Yeah.
In practice, it wasn't this bad, but for some reason it was just worse this time.
Okay. Well, hopefully you'll be able to deal with that during the race. Obviously, as Callum said, you can't change that, but I have to see how much that affects you in the race, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
Alright.
thank you for joining us.
Not a problem.
Yeah, and the other person we are going to go ahead and speak to is the pole sitter. I mean, it's just every week that we speak to him, but the pole sitter, Max Chapman, number 22.
Hello. Yeah, I'm very happy to be on pole. I mean, after my last couple of weeks of mistakes and things that I shouldn't have done, I'm very happy to be back on pole position.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're also going to go ahead and get P2 in here, Casper Knopp. I mean, you guys just absolutely to the wire. You guys are matched to the T on the pace. I mean, what was it? Your middle sector that let you down, Casper, and then obviously it was 7,000s in the end that separated you.
So in the second sector was 2/10 up, and I just lost a tenth somewhere. But nevertheless, P2 is a good result in my opinion. Off the start as well. I won't have the good side of the traction on the track, but I will be starting on the inside. So yeah, we'll see what we can do there. And once again, the pole position just snuck away.
And Max, what have you got to say with that? 7/10? Is that too close for comfort?
Yeah, it's extremely close. I was down in my first sector and I was like, oh no, I'm not going to do very well here. And then as I was coming around the final few corners, I was working it out in my head, trying to see if I was to beat him, and I snuck in by 7,000.
Yeah.
So I'm extremely happy, but well done to Casper.
But yeah, 7 milliseconds is just so tight, isn't it, Sam?
Yeah, I think the tightest we've seen so far. I mean, that's really impressive. Max, do you think that, considering how close the gap was between you and Casper, do you think that's going to be a common theme going through the league? Are you worried about that?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that because, I mean, some tracks I'm slower. Some people are faster than me. This isn't my favorite. This isn't my favorite track, but yeah, once again, I'm happy to be on pole, and I think this theme will keep on occurring throughout the league. I think.
Well, thank you two, but just one more closing question. Casper, last week you were in P2, and from the start, you were just absolutely flying. can you be in P1 again by the start of the second corner?
Possible, but obviously around Bahrain, you want to start on the outside in terms of traction. A lot more rubber laid down near the curbs going into turn 1, so it's a lot easier to find traction there than it is on the inside, which is littered with marbles. Definitely still possible if you just get the right power settings, great RPM usage. It's definitely possible, but it'll be a lot tougher than it was at Monaco.
I didn't know we were back in the Persian Gulf in Bahrain, but we'll go with it. Max Chapman, do you think you can defend from the man after his amazing start last week?
We'll have to wait and see, to be honest. I'm hoping I can, but his start last week was incredible, so, you know, that anything could happen.
Thank you both, chaps, and good luck to you both.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we see them just lining up and getting ready to propel themselves as well as they can. So, from myself and from Sam, I think that's going to be it, Sam.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be an exciting race on Sunday. No doubt lots of overtakes, especially that start-finish straight. It's going to be good. I hope to see you all there.
Remember, Sunday, 19:30 GMT. See you later, guys.